The owl-shaped clock clicked to 6:15 p.m. Rain drummed the windows. A 5-year-old slept at the art table, cheek pressed to finger paint. Sienna stood with her phone, the principal's number on screen. Fourth time this week. She should call, should follow protocol. But Mila's hand held her thumb even in sleep, small fingers wrapped tight like a lifeline she couldn't bear to break. The door crashed open. Declan stumbled in, soaking wet, wood shavings in his hair, clutching a woman's red high heel. His eyes found hers, desperate, exhausted. "Please don't report me." Sienna Maxwell believed in routines the way some people believed in religion. Every Monday morning at 7:45 a.m., she unlocked the door to room 3 at Little Sprouts Preschool, flipped on the lights, and spent exactly 30 minutes preparing for the day. Alphabet blocks arranged by color, picture books spine out on the reading rug, name tags lined up like soldiers at each cubby. She smoothed her yellow cardigan, no wrinkles, no loose threads, and checked her reflection in the window. Hair in a neat bun, lipstick the color of dusty rose. Professional, warm, trustworthy. "Morning, sunshine." Her colleague Bryn appeared in the doorway, travel mug in hand, dark circles under her eyes. "How do you do it? I barely remembered pants today." Sienna smiled. "Coffee helps." Coffee and superhuman organizational skills. Bryn leaned against the doorframe. "Hey, heads up, you've got Mila Rivera in your class this year." "The little girl with the braids? She seems sweet." "She is." Bryn's voice dropped. "But her dad," she made a vague gesture. "Let's just say you'll want to keep the principal's number on speed dial." Sienna's smile tightened. She'd dealt with difficult parents before. The helicopter types who questioned every snack choice. The ones who believed their child was gifted and misunderstood. She could handle one more. The morning rushed by in a blur of finger paints and fruit snacks. Mila Rivera was indeed sweet, quiet, careful with the crayons, always putting toys back where she found them. During circle time, she sat with perfect posture, hands folded in her lap. Too perfect, Sienna thought, like a child who'd learned early not to make waves. At 3:30 p.m., parents began trickling in. Sienna checked them off her mental list. Lucas's mom with the yoga mat, Emma's dad with the Bluetooth earpiece. By 3:45, only Mila remained, sitting at the art table with a coloring book. "Your daddy will be here soon," Sienna said, crouching beside her. Mila didn't look up. "He's always late." The matter-of-fact tone made Sienna's chest tighten. She pulled out her phone, checked the parent contact sheet. Declan Rivera, one number, no emergency backup listed. At 4:15, she tried calling. Voicemail. At 4:30, the principal, Mrs. Chen, poked her head in. "Still waiting?" "Traffic, probably," Sienna said, though Seattle traffic didn't explain 45 minutes. Mrs. Chen's expression said she'd heard this before. "Policy is clear. After 6 p.m., we call child services." Sienna's stomach dropped. She glanced at Mila, now humming softly to herself, coloring a rainbow with meticulous precision. "I'll stay," Sienna said. The door slammed open at 4:47 p.m. A man burst through, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a t-shirt inside out and backwards. Paint stains covered his jeans. Wood shavings clung to his dark hair like confetti. "I'm so sorry." He spotted Mila, and his entire body sagged with relief. "Baby girl, I'm sorry." Mila launched herself at him. "Daddy!" He caught her, buried his face in her hair. I know I'm late. The router broke in the GPS." He looked up at Sienna, seeming to register her existence for the first time. "Is she expelled?" "Excuse me?" "From school. Did you kick her out?" His eyes were the color of espresso, bloodshot and desperate. "We don't expel children for late pickups, Mr. Rivera." "Declan." He set Mila down, ran a hand through his disaster of hair. "And I really am sorry. The workshops across town and the router that controls the CNC machine died, and I had to finish this piece for a client by 5, or they'd cancel, and... He stopped, exhaled. That's not your problem. Sienna should have been angry. She'd stayed an hour past her contract. Her dinner plans, takeout and a bath, were shot. But watching him crouch to Mila's level, carefully checking her over like she was something precious and breakable, made her pause. Just try to be on time tomorrow, she said. Declan nodded, scooping up Mila's backpack. I will. Promise. The door swung shut behind them. Bryn appeared from the hallway. Let me guess, Dad of the Year? Sienna began stacking chairs. He had an emergency. They always do. By Friday, Sienna had learned 3 things about Declan Rivera. 1. He was never on time. Tuesday, he'd arrived at 4:20 with paint in his beard, claiming a client showed up unannounced. Wednesday, 4:35, with a story about a broken-down truck. Thursday, 4:50, no excuse at all, just a muttered apology and exhausted eyes. 2. He loved his daughter with a fierceness that made Sienna's chest ache. The way he'd cup Mila's face, checking for any sign of sadness or fear. The way he'd carry her on his shoulders through the parking lot, making her giggle even when rain soaked them both. 3. He was slowly killing himself trying to be enough. She recognized it because she'd spent her 20s doing the same thing. Saying yes to every request, staying late, skipping meals, believing that if she just worked hard enough, she'd earn the love and approval she'd never gotten at home. Friday at 5:15 p.m., Mila was building a block tower. Sienna sat at her desk, pretending to grade worksheets but really watching the clock. The door opened. Declan, right on schedule in his lateness. I know, he said before she could speak. I'm the worst. You're consistent, at least. He almost smiled. Then he saw Mila's tower, elaborate, architecturally sound, taller than she was. Did you build that, baby? Miss Sienna helped. He glanced at Sienna, something unreadable in his expression. Thank you, for staying, for helping her. It's my job. No, he shook his head. Your job ended at 3:30. This is, he gestured vaguely, this is kindness, and we don't get a lot of that. Before Sienna could respond, he'd picked up Mila and left. She sat in the empty classroom for 10 minutes, trying to ignore the warmth spreading through her chest. The rain came down in sheets. Sienna stood at the classroom window, watching water cascade off the roof, turning the parking lot into a lake. 6:30 p.m., 2 hours late. She'd called Declan 4 times. Voicemail, voicemail, voicemail. The final time, the automated voice informed her his mailbox was full. Mila had stopped asking when Daddy would arrive. She'd eaten the emergency crackers Sienna kept in her desk. Colored. Read 3 picture books. Now she sat on the reading rug, head drooping. Sweetie, can you give me another number? Maybe a grandparent? Just Daddy. Sienna pulled up Mrs. Chen's extension. 1 call. That's all it would take. Protocol existed for a reason, but her finger hovered over the dial button, wouldn't press down. The power flickered. Once. Twice. The overhead lights died, leaving only the dim glow from the hallway. Mila whimpered. It's okay. Sienna grabbed the emergency flashlight, made her way to the rug. Just a little storm. Daddy probably got stuck in traffic. What if he forgot me? He didn't forget you. Mommy did. The words hung in the air, heavy as the rain. Sienna sat beside Mila, pulled her close. The girl's hair smelled like strawberry shampoo and crayon wax. Your daddy's coming, Sienna whispered. I promise. At 6:47, headlights swept across the window. A truck door slammed, running footsteps. Declan burst in, drenched and wild-eyed, a streak of blood on his temple. Oh my God! Sienna stood. Mila clutched against her. What happened? Tree down on Morrison Street. Had to detour through 3 neighborhoods. Then a guy ran a red light and he touched his forehead, seemed surprised to find blood. It doesn't matter. Is she okay? She's fine. You're bleeding. He waved her off, reaching for Mila. Baby girl, I'm so sorry. But Sienna stepped between them. Sit down. I need to get her home. You need stitches, or at least bandaging. She pointed at the reading rug. Sit. Something in her voice made him obey. Maybe exhaustion, maybe the adrenaline crash. He sank onto the rug, hands shaking. Sienna retrieved the first aid kit, knelt beside him. Hold still. The cut wasn't deep, but it had bled dramatically. She cleaned it with antiseptic wipes, hands steady despite her racing heart. I'm so tired, he said quietly. Not to her, to the air, to himself. I know. I don't know how to do this, any of this. Neither do most parents. Her mom made it look easy. His voice cracked. She'd have everything planned, dinner made, house clean, and I can't even pick up my kid on time. Sienna pressed a butterfly bandage to his temple. Her mom left. He looked up at her. She was close enough to see gold flecks in his brown eyes, close enough to smell rain and sawdust and something underneath. Desperation, maybe. Or hope. Yeah, he said. She did. Mila's voice broke the moment. Can we go home now? Declan stood, scooped her up. At the door, he paused. Thank you for everything. Don't thank me yet. Mrs. Chen wants to see you Monday morning. His face went pale. What does that mean? Sienna thought of policy, protocol, the rule book that kept children safe. Then she thought of Mila's small hand in hers, her matter-of-fact voice. Mommy forgot me. It means you can't be late anymore. 3 strikes, Mrs. Chen said, folding her hands on her desk. That's our policy. Monday morning, 7:30 a.m. Sienna sat across from the principal, stomach churning. Declan stood by the door, Mila's hand in his, looking like a man awaiting sentencing. 3 late pickups in a calendar month triggers a review, Mrs. Chen continued. Mr. Rivera has had 7 in 2 weeks. I explained about the storm, and the broken router, and the truck trouble, and the client emergencies. Mrs. Chen's voice wasn't unkind, but it was firm. I'm sure they're all true, but we have 24 children in this program and 2 teachers. We can't have staff staying hours past their shift. It won't happen again. You've said that before. She pulled out a form. Here's what I can offer. 3 more late pickups before the end of the month, and we'll have to withdraw Mila's enrollment. No exceptions. Sienna saw Declan's jaw tighten, saw the way his grip on Mila's hand became white-knuckled. That's in 2 weeks, he said. I'm aware. She loves it here. She talks about Miss Sienna every night. Mrs. Chen's expression softened. Then I suggest you figure out your schedule. After they left, Sienna sat in the empty office. Through the window, she watched Declan kneel in the parking lot, explaining something to Mila. The little girl nodded, solemn and resigned. It's not your problem, Mrs. Chen said gently. I know. Sienna, you have a good heart, but you can't save everyone. I'm not trying to save anyone. Mrs. Chen just looked at her, and Sienna knew it was a lie. For 3 days, Declan was on time, early even. Tuesday, 3:25, Wednesday, 3:20, Thursday, 3:15, looking like he'd sprinted from the parking lot. See, Mila said proudly on Thursday, Daddy's not late. I see that. Sienna helped her into her jacket. Great job, Mr. Rivera. Declan, he corrected, again. And don't congratulate me for basic parenting. But she caught the relief in his voice, the way his shoulders had lost some of their tension. Friday, he arrived at 3:30 exactly. Mila ran to him, chattering about the butterfly they'd released during science time. Declan listened with complete attention, but his eyes kept darting to Sienna. Can I talk to you? He asked. Just for a minute? Sienna glanced at the clock. I have parent-teacher conferences at 4. Please. Something in his voice made her nod. Mila, honey, can you pick out a book from the shelf? Your dad and I need to chat. Once Mila was settled, Declan rubbed the back of his neck. I want to explain about the lateness. You don't owe me an explanation. I think I do, he exhaled. My wife, ex-wife, left 2 years ago. Said I was married to my work, not to her. And she wasn't wrong. I restore antiques, furniture mostly. It was my dad's business, and when he died, I took over. Sienna waited. Outside, the afternoon sun broke through clouds, painting everything gold. The workshop's barely surviving. I take whatever jobs I can get, which means weird hours and impossible deadlines. I can't afford to hire help. Can't afford daycare that runs past 3. Can't afford... He stopped. Mila's the only thing I've ever done right, and I'm screwing that up too. You're not screwing it up. I'm late every day. But you come, Sienna said. You always come. Do you know how many kids in this classroom have parents who are technically on time, but mentally checked out? Who drop them off and pick them up like they're dry cleaning? Declan's eyes met hers. You're just saying that. I'm not. Mila adores you. She talks about your workshop, about helping you sand wood on weekends. She made you a card last week that said, "Best daddy ever," in crayon. Sienna felt her cheeks warm. She's happy. Despite everything, she's happy. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Declan said, "Can I buy you coffee? As a thank you. Not here, somewhere off campus, so it's not weird." Sienna should have said no. Professionalism, boundaries, the clear line between teachers and parents. Tomorrow, she heard herself say, 10 a.m., there's a cafe on Hawthorne. His smile was sudden and devastating. I'll be on time. The cafe was small and warm, smelling of roasted beans and cinnamon. Declan was already there when Sienna arrived, 2 mugs on the table. I didn't know what you liked, he said, so I got options. Latte, cappuccino, and plain black in case you're a purist. Sienna took the latte. You didn't have to do this. I wanted to. He wrapped his hands around his mug. I've been thinking about what you said, about me always coming back. It's true. Maybe, but it's not enough. He leaned forward. Mrs. Chen made it clear. 3 strikes and Mila's out. I can't risk that. So I need a backup plan. What kind of plan? Someone I can call when the workshop runs late. Someone who could stay with Mila for an extra 30 minutes without hating me for it. His eyes held hers. Someone like you. Sienna's heart kicked against her ribs. That's not... I can't be your personal babysitter. I'm not asking you to babysit. I'm asking if I can put your number down as an emergency contact, just in case. I'll pay you. It's not about money. Then what is it about? She set down her mug. You don't know me. I could be anyone. You're not anyone. You're the person who stayed with my daughter during a blackout, who bandaged my head when I was bleeding. His voice dropped. You're the person she drew in a family portrait last week, standing between me and her, holding both our hands. Sienna's throat closed. She showed you that? She hangs it on the fridge. The image gutted her. This little girl who'd been left by her mother, who waited patiently every afternoon for a father doing his best, had drawn Sienna into her world, had made her family. Okay, Sienna said, emergency contact, but only for emergencies. Declan's relief was palpable. Thank you, God, thank you. Then quieter. How can I repay you? You can't. There must be something, a skill I have. I can fix furniture, restore wood, build cabinets. He stopped, studying her. What do you need? Sienna thought of her townhouse, the backyard she'd inherited with it, overgrown and chaotic. Every weekend she'd stand at the kitchen window, staring at the tangle of weeds and broken fence, too overwhelmed to start. I have a garden, she said slowly. It's a disaster. The previous owner let it go wild, and I don't know where to begin. Declan's face lit up. I can fix that. You don't have to. I want to. Let me do this. He pulled out his phone. Give me your address. I'll come by next Saturday. Bring Mila. She loves dirt. Sienna rattled off her address, feeling like she'd crossed an invisible line. Teachers didn't invite parents to their homes, didn't blur the professional into personal. But when Declan smiled, wide and genuine, the first real smile she'd seen from him, she couldn't bring herself to care. The following Monday, Declan picked up Mila at 3:25, Tuesday, 3:20, Wednesday, 3:15. A new routine carved from desperation and determination. But something had shifted. The way he'd meet Sienna's eyes across the classroom. The extra second his hand would brush hers during the handoff of Mila's backpack. Small things, probably meaningless, except Sienna found herself checking her reflection before pickup time, wearing the yellow cardigan she knew brought out her eyes, laughing a little louder at Mila's jokes when Declan was watching. You're doing it again, Bryn said on Wednesday, catching Sienna smoothing her hair. Doing what? The thing you do when you care too much. Bryn's voice was kind but worried. The parent savior complex. I'm not saving anyone. Aren't you? Bryn touched her arm. Sienna, I love you, but you've got to stop trying to fix every broken person who crosses your path. He's not broken, he's struggling. Exactly. And you're the girl who stayed late every night senior year to tutor the kid who was failing algebra, who adopted that three-legged cat no one wanted, who volunteers at the homeless shelter on Christmas. Bryn's eyes were sad. You can't pour from an empty cup. Sienna wanted to argue, but she thought of her townhouse, clean, organized, silent, thought of the dinners she ate alone, the weekends spent grading papers or reorganizing her closet, thought of the last time someone had asked how she was doing and actually waited for an answer. Maybe I like helping, she said quietly. Maybe you're afraid to need help. That night, Sienna stood in her kitchen, staring at the overgrown garden through the window. Weeds as tall as her waist, fence posts rotting, a tire swing hanging from a dead branch. Saturday, Declan would come, with his tools and his daughter and his devastating smile. And Sienna would let him into her space, her sanctuary, her carefully controlled world. The thought terrified her. The thought thrilled her. She poured a glass of wine, sat at her small dining table, and tried not to count the hours until she'd see him again. Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Sienna checked her phone for the 15th time. No calls, no texts. Mila sat at the art table, methodically sorting crayons by color, a habit Sienna recognized as self-soothing. He's probably stuck in traffic, Sienna said. Mila didn't look up. Probably. But Sienna's chest tightened. Declan had been so careful all week. Early every day, relieved every day, thanking her every day. What could have happened? At 6 o'clock, Mrs. Chen appeared. Still here? Declan's late. That's strike one. Mrs. Chen's voice was neutral, but her eyes held sympathy. 2 more and we're done. Something must have happened. An emergency. There are always emergencies, Sienna. After Mrs. Chen left, Sienna tried Declan's number. Straight to voicemail. Her stomach churned. What if he'd been in an accident? What if... The door opened at 6:17. Declan stumbled in, phone clutched in his hand, eyes wild. I'm sorry, God, I'm so sorry. A client came to pick up a piece and refused to leave until I fixed a scratch that wasn't even there. And then he threatened to sue, and I couldn't just kick him out. You're an hour and 47 minutes late. He stopped, looked at the clock. His face crumpled. No, 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 no. I was so careful. I set alarms. I had it under control. Well, you don't. The words came out sharper than Sienna intended. She was angry at him, at herself, at the situation. Mrs. Chen was here. This is strike one. Strike one? What does that mean? It means you have two chances left. Two late pickups and Mila loses her spot. Declan sank into one of the tiny chairs, looking absurd and defeated. I'm going to lose her. You're not going to lose her. Not Mila, the school. I'm going to lose the school. And then what? I can't afford private care. Can't quit work, can't... He pressed his palms against his eyes. I'm failing her. Mila walked over, put her small hand on his knee. It's okay, Daddy. It's not okay, baby. Miss Sienna will help us. Both of them looked at Sienna, Declan with desperate hope, Mila with absolute certainty. And Sienna knew, in that moment, she was already in too deep to climb back out. Saturday, she said, my house. We'll fix the garden like we planned, and we'll figure this out. Declan nodded, unable to speak. As they left, Mila turned back at the door. Thank you, Miss Sienna. Sienna stood alone in the classroom, surrounded by child-sized furniture and alphabet posters, and wondered when exactly she'd stop being just a teacher and become something more dangerous, someone who cared. The doorbell rang at exactly 9 a.m. Sienna opened it to find Declan holding 2 coffees and a white paper bag, Mila beside him clutching a stuffed rabbit. He looked different in weekend clothes, worn jeans, a faded blue Henley that matched his eyes, work boots scuffed at the toes. I brought breakfast, he said, holding up the bag. Cinnamon rolls, as an apology for Thursday. You didn't have to do that. I know. His smile was tentative. But I did anyway. Mila tugged on Sienna's hand. Can I see your house? Of course. Sienna stepped aside, suddenly hyper-aware of her space through a stranger's eyes. The cream-colored walls she'd painted herself, the bookshelf organized by genre and color, the framed botanical prints, the throw pillows arranged just so. It's really nice, Declan said, taking it in. Feels like you. What does that mean? Warm, orderly, safe. He set the coffees on her kitchen counter. Where's this disaster garden? She led them through the sliding glass door to the backyard. In morning light, it looked even worse. Weeds tangled with blackberry vines. The fence leaned at a dangerous angle. A rusted wheelbarrow lay on its side, half buried in overgrowth. Oh, Declan said. I know, it's bad. It's not bad. He walked the perimeter, hands on his hips, assessing. It's neglected. There's a difference. He crouched, pushed aside some weeds. You've got good bones here. Raised beds underneath all this. Stone pathway. Someone loved this garden once. Sienna felt an unexpected lump in her throat. The previous owner was elderly. After she went into care, it just sat. We'll bring it back. Declan pulled garden gloves from his back pocket, tossed her a pair. Mila, you're on rock duty. Any pretty stones you find go in this bucket for the pathway. Deal? Deal! Mila grabbed the bucket, immediately absorbed in her task. They worked in comfortable silence. Declan attacked the weeds with systematic efficiency, while Sienna gathered debris into trash bags. The morning warmed. Birdsong filtered through trees. Somewhere nearby, a lawnmower hummed. This is nice, Sienna said, surprised by the truth of it. Declan looked up from yanking blackberry vines, dirt smudged across his cheek. Yeah? I usually spend Saturdays cleaning or grading papers, useful things. She gestured at the chaos around them. This feels, I don't know, different. Different good or different bad? Good, she met his eyes. Definitely good. Something passed between them, a recognition maybe, or an acknowledgement of what they were both carefully not saying. Daddy, look! Mila held up a smooth gray stone shaped like a heart. For the pathway. Perfect, baby girl. Declan's voice was soft. Then to Sienna, she's happy. I haven't seen her this relaxed in months. What about you? Sienna asked. Are you happy? The question seemed to catch him off guard. He sat back on his heels, considering. I don't know if I remember what happy feels like. Mostly I'm just surviving. That's not a life. It's the life I've got. But there was no bitterness in his voice, just resignation. Sienna wanted to argue, wanted to tell him he deserved more than survival, but Mila came running over with another stone, and the moment passed. By noon, they'd cleared half the garden. The raised beds were visible now, cedar wood, weathered but salvageable. Declan examined them with professional interest. These are quality, hand-built, probably 40 years old. He ran his hand along the wood. They need sanding and sealing, but they'll last another 40 years easy. You could do that? Sienna asked. In my sleep, he grinned. Give me 2 weeks and some supplies. I'll make them beautiful. You don't have to. I want to. His hand found hers, squeezed briefly before letting go. Let me do this, please. The touch lasted maybe 3 seconds, but Sienna felt it long after he'd pulled away. A warmth that spread from her palm to her chest, settling somewhere dangerous near her heart. They ordered pizza for lunch, ate it sitting on Sienna's back steps while Mila chased a butterfly. The conversation flowed easy. Childhood memories, favorite books, the weird dreams they'd had as kids. I wanted to be an astronaut, Declan admitted. Had posters all over my walls. Space shuttle models hanging from the ceiling. What happened? Reality, he shrugged. Turns out I get motion sick in cars. Space probably wasn't going to work out. Sienna laughed. I wanted to be a baker. Had this whole fantasy of owning a little shop with mismatched plates and fresh bread every morning. So, why teaching? Same reason as you. Reality. She picked at her pizza crust. I'm good at it. Kids need me. It's stable, predictable, safe. But not what you dreamed of. No, she admitted, not what I dreamed of. Declan studied her with those two perceptive eyes. You ever do anything just for yourself, just because you want to? The question hit harder than it should have. Sienna thought of her perfectly organized life, her lesson plans color-coded by week, her groceries bought every Sunday at precisely 10 a.m., her schedule, her routine, her safe, small world. No, she said quietly. I don't think I do. That's sad. It's practical. It's sad, he repeated, but gently. You should do something wild, something that scares you. Like what? His eyes held hers. I don't know, but I think you'll know it when you find it. At 3 p.m. they packed up. Mila had grass stains on her knees and flowers in her hair. Declan had dirt under his fingernails and color in his cheeks Sienna hadn't seen before. Thank you for today, he said at the door. Not just for the garden, for... He trailed off, searching for words. For making us feel normal. You are normal. We're really not, but he was smiling. Same time next week? I'll be here. After they left, Sienna stood in her newly visible garden, surrounded by cleared beds and piles of weeds, and felt something shift inside her. Something that felt dangerously close to hope. She pulled out her phone, sent Bryn a text. I think I'm in trouble. The response came immediately. What kind of trouble? Sienna looked at the heart-shaped stone Mila had left on her porch step, a small gift she'd probably forgotten in the rush to leave. The good kind, she typed. Maybe. 3 weeks passed in a pattern that felt dangerously like contentment. Weekdays, Declan arrived at 3:20 p.m. sharp, always with a smile for Sienna, always with undivided attention for Mila. No more late pickups, no more desperate apologies. Mrs. Chen stopped checking in, stopped watching them with worried eyes. Weekends, they worked on the garden. Sienna learned that Declan hummed while he worked, old rock songs from the 70s, off-key but endearing, that he drank his coffee black with 2 sugars, that he could identify wood types by smell alone, running his fingers over grain patterns like reading Braille. She learned that Mila loved worms, called them garden helpers, and insisted on relocating every single one to safer soil. That the little girl had her father's eyes, but someone else's laugh, high and bright, like wind chimes. And she learned that loneliness, once you'd grown accustomed to it, could be startlingly easy to forget. "Hand me that level?" Declan asked from where he crouched by the raised bed. They'd spent the morning sanding down 40 years of weather damage, and now he was checking the frame's alignment. Sienna passed him the tool. Their fingers brushed. A shock of warmth, there and gone. "Perfect," he said, eyes on the level. "Another hour and we can seal these." "You don't have to finish today. I know you have work." "I want to finish." He looked up at her, sawdust caught in his dark hair. "Besides, where else would I rather be?" The question hung between them, weighted with meaning neither acknowledged. Mila appeared from around the corner, hands cupped carefully. "Miss Sienna, look, a ladybug." Sienna knelt, examined the tiny red insect. "That's good luck." "Really?" "Really. Make a wish before she flies away." Mila closed her eyes, face scrunched in concentration. The ladybug crawled across her palm, spread delicate wings, and lifted into the air. "What did you wish for?" Declan asked. Mila smiled, secretive and knowing. "Can't tell. Won't come true." But her eyes flickered between her father and Sienna, and something in Sienna's chest squeezed tight. It happened on a Thursday. Declan had stayed after pickup to help Sienna rearrange the reading corner, a bookshelf too heavy for her to move alone. Mila played with blocks in the corner, building elaborate towers. "Left a bit," Sienna directed. "No, your other left." Declan laughed, adjusting. "Bossy today." "I'm always bossy, you just don't notice." "Oh, I notice." His voice dropped, playful. "I notice everything about you." Sienna's breath caught. She was suddenly aware of how close they were in the small space, how his shirt had ridden up slightly, showing a strip of tan skin, how his eyes weren't just brown but flecked with amber, like wood grain catching light. "There," she said too quickly. "That's good." But as she turned, her foot caught on a stack of board books. She stumbled. Declan's hands caught her waist, steadied her. For 3 heartbeats, they stood frozen, his hands warm through her cardigan, her palms pressed flat against his chest. "Okay?" he asked, voice rough. "Yeah, yes, I'm fine." Neither moved. Declan's thumb traced a small circle against her hip, probably unconscious. His gaze dropped to her mouth. Sienna felt her lips part, an invitation she didn't mean to give but couldn't take back. "Daddy, look!" Mila's voice shattered the moment. "I made it taller than you." Declan stepped back like he'd been burned, cleared his throat. "That's great, baby girl. Ready to go home?" As they left, he didn't meet Sienna's eyes. That night, Sienna lay in bed, replaying the moment. The weight of his hands, the heat in his gaze, the way her entire body had leaned toward him, pulled by gravity she couldn't fight. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "This is Declan. Got your number from the school directory. Hope that's okay. Just wanted to say thanks for today. For everything." Sienna stared at the message for 5 full minutes before responding. "It's okay. Anytime." His reply came immediately. "Careful. I might take you up on that." She fell asleep with her phone on her pillow, a smile on her face, and the feeling that she'd crossed a line she couldn't uncross. They started texting. Nothing important, small things. Mila had drawn another picture, this time of a garden with 3 people holding hands. Declan had burned dinner trying to make spaghetti from scratch. Sienna had found a book on furniture restoration at a used bookstore and thought of him. The texts bled into phone calls. Late at night, after Mila was asleep, when Sienna's townhouse felt too quiet and Declan's workshop felt too loud with memories. "Tell me something true," Declan said one night, voice soft through the speaker. Sienna tucked her knees to her chest on the couch. "What kind of true?" "Any kind, something you don't tell people." She thought for a moment. "I'm afraid of being ordinary, of living my whole life in routines and schedules and never doing anything that matters." "You matter to Mila." "That's her childhood, not my life." "Fair enough." She heard him shift, imagined him in his workshop surrounded by half-finished projects. Your turn. Ask me something. Why did your wife really leave? The silence stretched so long she thought the call had dropped. Then, she said I love dead things more than living ones, that I spent more time bringing old furniture back to life than I did being present for her, for Mila. His voice cracked. She wasn't wrong, but you changed. I had to. When she left, I realized I could either keep hiding in my work or show up for my daughter. Couldn't do both. He exhaled. Some days I still don't know if I made the right choice. The workshop's dying. We're barely surviving on what I make. Mila's happy, that's what matters. Is it? Is happiness enough when I can't afford dance classes or nice clothes, or a house that doesn't leak when it rains? Sienna's throat tightened. My parents had money, big house, fancy cars, all the things, and I spent my childhood desperate for them to notice me, to ask about my day, to show up at a recital. She wiped her eyes. Money doesn't make you a good parent. Presence does. And you show up, Declan. Every single day, you show up. Even when I'm late. Especially then. She heard him breathe, slow and measured. Thank you for that. It's just the truth. No, he said. It's grace, and I don't deserve it. After they hung up, Sienna sat in the dark, phone pressed to her chest, and admitted what she'd been avoiding for weeks. She was falling for him. Had probably already fallen. The raised beds gleamed in afternoon sun, sealed wood the color of honey. Declan had planted herbs in one, basil, rosemary, thyme, and vegetables in another. Tomatoes already climbing their stakes, lettuce in neat green rows. It's beautiful, Sienna breathed. It's functional. But Declan's smile said he was pleased. Give it 2 months, you'll have fresh salads for days. I don't even like salad. Then I'll teach you to make pesto. The casual assumption of a future, of more weekends, more time together, made Sienna's heart race. Mila dug in the dirt nearby, creating what she called a fairy garden with pebbles and flowers. She'd been quiet today, more subdued than usual. Everything okay? Sienna asked, crouching beside her. Mila shrugged. Mommy called yesterday. Sienna's gaze shot to Declan. He'd gone very still, jaw tight. She wants to see me, Mila continued, arranging stones in a circle. Daddy said maybe. Maybe is good, Sienna said carefully. Maybe means we'll see. She left because of me. Baby, no. Declan was there in an instant, pulling Mila onto his lap. She didn't leave because of you, not ever. You hear me? Then why? Declan looked helplessly at Sienna. She saw the pain in his eyes, the guilt, the exhaustion of carrying this burden alone. Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, Sienna said, sitting beside them. Sometimes they don't know how to be happy, so they leave looking for it somewhere else. But that's about them, not about you. Did she find it? Mila asked. Is she happy now? I don't know, sweetie. Mila nodded, solemn beyond her years. Then she wriggled out of Declan's arms and went back to her fairy garden, the conversation apparently closed. Declan stayed frozen, hands empty, staring at the space where his daughter had been. She's handling it, Sienna said quietly. She shouldn't have to handle it. She's 5. Kids are resilient. They shouldn't have to be. His voice broke. God, Sienna, what if her mom wants her back? What if she fights for custody? Does she have grounds? She's got money now, married some tech executive. They've got a house in Bellevue with a pool and... He stopped, laughing bitterly. And here I am in a falling-apart rental with a failing business. What court wouldn't choose her? Sienna took his hand. Courts choose what's best for the child. And what's best for Mila is you. You don't know that. I do. I see her every day. I see how she lights up when you arrive, how she talks about your workshop, about the things you make together. Sienna squeezed his hand. You're her whole world, Declan. Money can't compete with that. He looked at their joined hands, then at her face. How do you always know what to say? I don't. I just say what I see. What do you see? You, she thought. I see you. But before she could answer, Mila called out, Miss Sienna, come help with the fairy house. The moment passed, but Declan's hand stayed in hers for 3 more seconds before he let go. Little Sprouts hosted a parent mixer on a Friday evening, an attempt to build community, foster connections. Sienna had helped plan it, and now she stood by the refreshment table in a sundress she'd bought just for tonight, telling herself it had nothing to do with Declan. He arrived late, of course. Mila ran immediately to the play area while Declan scanned the room, found Sienna, and smiled. You look nice, he said, approaching. It's just a dress. It's a good dress. His eyes held hers for a beat too long. Bryn appeared at Sienna's elbow, stage whispering, so that's the one. There is no one, Sienna hissed. Right, and I'm the Queen of England. Bryn extended a hand to Declan. Bryn, fellow teacher and Sienna's keeper of secrets. Declan, frequent offender and garden project partner. Oh, I've heard all about the garden project. Bryn's grin was wicked. Sounds very intensive. Sienna wanted to disappear into the floor. Other parents drifted over. Lucas's mom, Emma's dad, a couple Sienna didn't recognize. The conversation flowed. School fundraisers, upcoming field trips, the challenge of picky eaters. But Sienna was hyper-aware of Declan beside her. The way he listened intently when people spoke. The way he made everyone laugh with a self-deprecating story about trying to pack Mila's lunch and accidentally including a block of wood instead of a sandwich. How does that even happen? Emma's dad asked, chuckling. Sleep deprivation and too many projects. Declan shrugged. The wood was sandwich-sized. In my defense, it was dark. And Mila? Lucas's mom asked. Told me it was the best lunch ever because the other kids thought it was hilarious. Declan's smile was rueful. Sometimes I think she's raising me. Everyone laughed. But Sienna saw the truth underneath. This man who tried so hard, who failed sometimes, who kept showing up anyway. As the evening wound down, Declan found her by the coat rack. Thanks for organizing this, he said. Mila had fun. I had fun. Yeah? Yeah, he hesitated. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why are you still single? The question caught her off guard. That's pretty personal. I know, you don't have to answer. But Sienna found she wanted to. Because I'm good at taking care of people and terrible at letting them take care of me. Because I say yes to everyone except myself. Because, she trailed off, shrugged. Because it's easier to be alone than risk being left. Declan's expression softened. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Probably. For what it's worth, he stepped closer. I don't think you're someone who gets left. I think you're someone people stay for. Sienna's breath caught. Declan. Daddy! Mila appeared, pulling on his hand. Can we go to Miss Sienna's garden tomorrow? That's up to Miss Sienna. Both of them looked at her, hopeful and expectant. Tomorrow works, Sienna said, even though the smart thing would have been to create distance, to slow this down before it became too much. But she'd never been good at doing the smart thing, not when it came to people she cared about. Sunday morning arrived gray and drizzling. Sienna checked her phone. No cancellation text from Declan. At 9:15, his truck pulled into her driveway. Mila bounded out wearing a yellow raincoat and rubber boots. Declan followed, carrying a paper bag and looking tired but determined. Brought bagels, he said, and a plan. What kind of plan? He pulled out a folder, spread sketches on her kitchen table. Detailed drawings of her garden, pathways, a small arbor, even a bench tucked in the corner. You drew these? Sienna studied the careful lines, the precise measurements. Last night, couldn't sleep. He pointed to the arbor. Roses here, clematis climbing up. In 2 years, you'll have shade, a place to read. It's beautiful. It's a gift for everything you've done for us. His hand covered hers on the table. Let me give you this, please. Sienna looked at him, really looked, at the exhaustion etched around his eyes, the hope in his expression, the vulnerability of offering something so personal. Okay, she whispered. They worked through the drizzle, Mila splashing in puddles while Declan measured and marked. Around noon, the rain intensified. They retreated inside, dripping and laughing. I'll make tea, Sienna said. I'll dry off Mila. When she returned with steaming mugs, she found Declan on the floor, Mila curled against his chest, both of them reading a picture book. The scene was so domestic, so achingly right, that Sienna had to look away. She's asleep, Declan murmured, carefully setting the book aside. Couch? He carried Mila over, tucked her in with a throw blanket. Then he stood, and suddenly the room felt very small and very charged. Sienna, he started. Don't. Don't what? Don't say whatever you're about to say. She set down her mug with shaking hands. Because if you say it, everything changes. What if I want things to change? You can't. We can't. She gestured helplessly. I'm Mila's teacher. You're her parent. There are rules. Fuck the rules. Declan, no, listen. He crossed to her, close enough that she could smell rain and sawdust, and something uniquely him. I know this is complicated. I know there are protocols and professional boundaries and 100 good reasons why we shouldn't. But I also know that I think about you constantly, that I find excuses to text you, that I haven't felt this alive in years. Sienna's heart hammered. This is a bad idea. Probably. It could cost me my job. I know. It could hurt Mila. I would never let that happen. His hands found her waist. Tell me you don't feel this too, and I'll walk away. I'll pick up Mila, go home, and we'll go back to being just teacher and parent. Say the word. Sienna opened her mouth, closed it. She should say it, should protect her career, her carefully constructed life, her heart. Instead, she rose on her toes and kissed him. They broke apart, breathing hard, foreheads pressed together. We can't do this, Sienna said, but her hands were fisted in his shirt, holding him close. We just did. I mean, we can't keep doing this, not while I'm teaching Mila. Declan pulled back, searched her face. What are you saying? I'm saying I need time, to think, to figure out if there's a way to make this work without destroying everything. How much time? I don't know. A week? 2? His jaw tightened. That's a long time to pretend. I'm not asking you to pretend. I'm asking you to be patient. On the couch, Mila stirred, mumbled something in her sleep. They both froze, guilty and caught. I should go, Declan said quietly. Yeah, but neither moved. Finally, Declan bent, pressed a kiss to Sienna's forehead, gentle, aching with restraint. 2 weeks, he said. Then we talk. Really talk. After they left, Sienna sat in her perfect, orderly house and felt the walls closing in. She'd built this life to be safe, predictable, controlled. And in one kiss, Declan had torn down every carefully constructed barrier. Her phone buzzed. Bryn, how was the garden work? Sienna stared at the message, then typed, I kissed him. The response was immediate. What? Details, now. Can't. Having a crisis. Come over. I have wine and zero judgment. 30 minutes later, Sienna sat on Bryn's couch, second glass of wine in hand, spilling everything. So let me get this straight, Bryn said. You've been falling for this guy for weeks. He clearly feels the same. You finally kissed, and now you're what, calling it off? I'm not calling it off. I'm pausing it. Why? Because he's a parent. Because I could lose my job. Because you're terrified, Bryn finished, of being happy, of letting someone in. That's not fair. It's completely fair. Bryn's voice gentled. Sienna, I love you, but you've spent your whole life being everyone's caretaker because you're afraid of needing care yourself. This guy sees you, really sees you, And that scares you more than any career risk. Sienna stared into her wine. What if I mess it up? What if you don't? What if he leaves, like everyone leaves? Then you survive, like you always do. Bryn squeezed her hand. But what if he stays? That night, alone in her room, Sienna pulled up Declan's contact. Her thumb hovered over the call button. She set the phone down, picked it up, set it down. Finally, she typed, I'm sorry about today, about asking for space. I'm scared. His response came minutes later. I'm scared too, but I think you're worth being scared for. Sienna fell asleep with her phone clutched to her chest, tears on her cheeks, and hope warring with terror in equal measure. Monday morning, Sienna's classroom felt too bright, too loud. Every parent drop-off was torture, waiting for Declan, dreading Declan. He arrived at 8:15, Mila's hand in his. Their eyes met across the room. A whole conversation in one glance. I miss you. This is hard. I'm trying to respect your space. Morning, Miss Sienna. Mila ran over, backpack bouncing. Morning, sweetie. Declan lingered by the door. Can we talk? After school? I don't think that's a good idea. Please, it's important. Something in his expression made her nod. 3:45. The day dragged. Sienna taught on autopilot, her mind elsewhere. When pickup time came, Mila was collected by an unfamiliar woman, tall, polished, wearing designer jeans and tasteful jewelry. You must be Miss Maxwell, the woman said, extending a manicured hand. I'm Vanessa Rivera, Mila's mother. Sienna's stomach dropped. Oh, hello. Declan mentioned you've been very kind to Mila. I wanted to say thank you. It's my job. Still, Vanessa's smile didn't reach her eyes. It means a lot that she has someone stable in her life. The implication stung. I'll just get her things. As Vanessa led Mila away, the little girl looking back over her shoulder, confused, Declan appeared in the hallway. That was Vanessa, Sienna said unnecessarily. I know. She called this morning, demanded to pick Mila up. He ran a hand through his hair, said she wanted to re-establish a relationship. That's good, isn't it? For Mila to have her mom? You don't know Vanessa. She doesn't do anything without an agenda. His voice was bitter. Last time she visited, she made Mila cry by saying I'd be happier if she lived with Vanessa, like I'd want to give her up. Sienna reached for him, then remembered. 2 weeks. Space. She dropped her hand. Sorry, Declan said. You asked for distance. Here I am dumping my problems on you. I didn't ask for distance because I don't care. I asked for it because I care too much. His eyes searched hers. Then let me in, Sienna. Let me be there for you the way you're always there for everyone else. Before she could respond, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen, went pale. It's my lawyer, he said, from 2 years ago, when the divorce was finalized. He answered, listened, then, Are you serious? She can't. A pause. Tomorrow? That soon? He hung up looking sick. What happened? Sienna asked. Vanessa's filing for a custody hearing, claims I'm unfit, that Mila would be better off with her. He met Sienna's eyes. She's using my late pickups as evidence, every single one, including the ones you covered for me. Sienna's blood ran cold. Oh, God. It gets worse. She knows about the garden, about us spending time together outside of school. She's claiming I'm having an inappropriate relationship with Mila's teacher. But we're not. We kissed, Sienna. If she brings that up in court, he didn't finish. Didn't have to. Sienna could see it unfolding, the investigation, the questions, her career destroyed, and Declan losing Mila because of her. I can't see you anymore, she whispered. What? If we stop now, if there's nothing to find, maybe it won't matter, maybe... You're serious. Declan stepped back, expression shuddering. You're actually ending this. To protect Mila, to protect you. What about protecting us, what we could have? There is no us, not if it costs you your daughter. Declan laughed, harsh and broken. You're right, of course you're right. Can't let yourself need anyone, can you? Can't risk being left, so you leave first. The words hit like a slap. That's not fair. None of this is fair. He was already walking away. I'll see you at pickup, that's all. Just teacher and parent, like you wanted. He left her standing in the empty hallway, and Sienna slid down the wall, buried her face in her hands, and finally let herself cry. The next 2 weeks were torture. Declan arrived precisely at 3:30. No early, no late, no lingering conversations, just, "Hi, Miss Sienna." "Goodbye, Miss Sienna." Collecting Mila and leaving without meeting Sienna's eyes. Vanessa picked up twice a week, always immaculate, always making pointed comments about Mila's messy clothes or tangled hair. Each time, Sienna watched Mila shrink a little more. "Daddy forgot to brush my hair this morning," Mila said one day, voice small. "That's okay, everyone forgets sometimes." Sienna helped her into her jacket. "Mommy says forgetting is lazy." "Your mommy doesn't know what she's talking about," Sienna muttered before she could stop herself. Mila looked up, eyes wide. "You don't like mommy?" "I don't know your mommy well enough to not like her, but I know your daddy loves you very much. And sometimes people who love you still make mistakes." "Did daddy make a mistake? Is that why you don't talk anymore?" Sienna's heart cracked. "We still talk, sweetie." "Not like before." Mila's voice was matter-of-fact, devastating in its clarity. "Before you smiled at him. Now you look sad." At home, Sienna's garden sat half-finished. The arbor Declan had sketched remained unbuilt, the bench unmade. She couldn't bring herself to finish it alone. Bryn came over with takeout one Friday. "You look terrible." "Thanks. I'm serious. When's the last time you slept? Ate a real meal?" "I'm fine." "You're miserable. And so is he, by the way. Lucas's mom said Declan looks like a ghost at pickup." "Good for Lucas's mom." Bryn grabbed Sienna's shoulders. "Stop punishing yourself. You didn't do anything wrong." "I put my feelings above a child's well-being. I risked Declan's custody case. You fell in love. That's not a crime." Sienna froze. "I'm not in love with him." "Really? Then why are you sitting in a half-finished garden wearing his old work shirt and crying over your phone every night?" Sienna looked down. She was wearing Declan's shirt, faded blue Henley he'd left weeks ago. She'd been sleeping in it, breathing in the faint scent of sawdust and rain. "Oh, God," she whispered. "I'm in love with him." Finally, admission is the first step. What's the second? Figuring out what you're going to do about it. The custody hearing was set for a Tuesday. Sienna shouldn't have known, shouldn't have cared. She called in sick, spent the day pacing her house, checking her phone compulsively. At 2 p.m., Bryn texted, "Any news?" "No." At 4 p.m., "Still nothing?" "No." At 5:30, her doorbell rang. She opened it to find Declan on her porch, still wearing his court clothes, slacks, button down, tie loosened around his neck. "Hi," he said. "Hi." She drank him in, the shadows under his eyes, the defeated slump of his shoulders. "What happened? Can I come in?" Sienna stepped aside. He walked to her living room, sat heavily on the couch, and buried his face in his hands. "Declan." She knelt in front of him. "Tell me." "I won." Vanessa dropped the claim. Her lawyer said she didn't have sufficient evidence of neglect or unfitness. He looked up, eyes red. "But God, Sienna, it was close. They asked about every late pickup, every missed parent conference, everything. But you won." "Barely. The judge gave me a warning, said any more instability and we'd be back in court. I can't screw up again, not once." Sienna's throat closed. "That's good. That you won." "Is it?" His voice cracked. "Because I feel like I lost something more important." "What?" "You." He caught her hands. I lost you because I couldn't be the stable parent and the man who deserved you at the same time. Declan, let me finish, please. He took a shaky breath. You were right to push me away. I was a mess. I was putting Mila at risk by being selfish. But these past 2 weeks without you, he stopped. I can't do it. I can't pretend you're just Mila's teacher. Can't pretend I don't think about you every second. Can't pretend I'm not in love with you. Sienna's world tilted. You're what? In love with you. Completely, stupidly, hopelessly in love with you. You can't be. You barely know me. I know you stay late for kids who need you. I know you eat toast for dinner when you're too tired to cook. I know you're terrified of thunderstorms, but you'd never admit it. I know you cry at sad commercials and laugh at terrible puns. His thumbs trace circles on her wrists. I know you think you're ordinary, but you're the most extraordinary person I've ever met. Tears streamed down Sienna's face. This can't work. You said it yourself. Any instability and you're back in court. A relationship with me is the definition of instability. Not to me. You're the most stable thing in my life. I'm Mila's teacher, so we wait. School year ends in 3 months. She'll move to kindergarten. You won't be her teacher anymore. He cupped her face. 3 months, Sienna, and then there's no rule, no boundary, just us. 3 months is a long time. I've already waited my whole life to feel like this. What's 3 more months? Sienna closed her eyes, let herself lean into his touch. I'm scared. Me too. What if we try and it doesn't work? What if we don't try and spend the rest of our lives wondering, what if? She opened her eyes, found him watching her with such tenderness it hurt. 3 months, she whispered. 3 months, he agreed. Then he kissed her, soft and sweet and full of promise. They became experts at stolen moments. A text at 2 a.m. when neither could sleep. A phone call on her prep period when Mila was at music class. Saturday when he'd bring Mila to finish the garden, and they'd work side by side, hands brushing, words careful, every glance loaded with everything they couldn't say. Daddy's happy again, Mila observed one Saturday, arranging flowers in a vase. Oh, Sienna kept her voice casual. Yeah, he sings in the shower, and he doesn't look so tired. That's good. Mila studied her with far too much perception for a 5-year-old. Are you happy too, Miss Sienna? Sienna paused. Was she happy? Yeah, I think I am. Good. Mila went back to her flowers. You should be happy together. From across the garden, Declan caught Sienna's eye. Mouthed, she knows. Sienna mouthed back. Kids always know. At school, they maintained perfect professionalism. But Sienna found herself crafting lesson plans around things Mila loved. Teaching about butterflies because Mila had asked. Reading books about gardens and growing things. Creating art projects with wood and tools because she knew Mila would bring them home and tell her father about them. You're playing favorites, Bryn commented one afternoon. I am not. You absolutely are. Yesterday you spent 20 minutes helping Mila build a fairy house while Lucas knocked over the block tower. I was being attentive. You were being in love. Bryn's voice softened. It's okay, you know, to be happy. I'm terrified. Of course you are. That's how you know it matters. 8 weeks into their secret relationship, if it could be called that, Declan showed up at Sienna's house on a Wednesday night, alone. Where's Mila? Sienna asked, opening the door. Sleep over at my sister's. He held up takeout bags. I come bearing pad thai and questionable life choices. Can I come in? They ate on her couch, knees touching, talking about everything and nothing. When dinner was finished, Declan pulled her close, and for the first time in weeks, they just held each other. 4 more weeks, he murmured against her hair. I'm counting days. Me too. They fell asleep like that, tangled together on her couch, the TV playing something neither watched, both of them finally, blissfully, at peace. It happened 3 weeks before the school year ended. A client emergency, a rush job that could save Declan's failing workshop. He texted Sienna, "Running late, 30 minutes. I'm so sorry." "It's okay," she sent back. "I've got her." But 30 minutes became 60, then 90. At 5:15 p.m., Mrs. Chen appeared. "Again?" Sienna's stomach dropped. "There's an emergency." "There's always an emergency." Mrs. Chen's voice was kind but firm. "This is strike 3, Sienna. You know what that means." "Please, let me explain." "I've given him months, multiple warnings. At some point, rules have to mean something." She pulled out her phone. "I'm calling child services." "No!" Sienna shot to her feet. "Give me 5 more minutes. He's coming. I know he's coming. We've been through this. Policy is—" The door burst open. Declan stumbled in, covered in sawdust and paint, holding a legal document. "I'm sorry, God, I'm so sorry." He thrust the paper at Mrs. Chen. "Emergency guardianship form. Filled out this morning. Sienna is Mila's legal emergency contact as of noon today. I've been at the lawyer's office getting it notarized." Mrs. Chen scanned the document. "This should have been filed with the school." "I'm filing it right now, but it's legal, binding, which means Sienna isn't breaking any rules by keeping Mila late. She's family." His eyes found Sienna's. "If she'll accept." The room spun. Sienna couldn't breathe. "Miss Sienna?" Mila's small voice cut through the tension. "Are you my family now?" Everyone looked at her. Mrs. Chen, Declan, Mila with her hopeful eyes. "Yes," Sienna heard herself say, "if you want me to be." Mila launched herself into Sienna's arms. I want! Over the little girl's head, Sienna met Declan's gaze. Saw the question there. Was this too much? Did I overstep? She shook her head slightly. Not too much. Perfect. Mrs. Chen sighed. I'll file this with the office. But Declan, next time, communicate these things in advance. Yes, ma'am, absolutely. After she left, the three of them stood in the quiet classroom. You made me her guardian, Sienna said softly. Emergency guardian. Only if something happens to me. Declan's voice was rough. But I wanted you to know, I trust you with the most important thing in my life. Completely. That's, Sienna's voice broke. That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever done for me. Is it? Because I was worried it was creepy and overstepping and... She kissed him. Right there in the classroom, with Mila giggling between them, alphabet posters watching, the owl clock ticking toward evening. When they pulled apart, Declan was smiling. 3 more weeks. 3 more weeks, Sienna agreed. And for the first time in months, the future looked bright instead of terrifying. 2 weeks before school ended, Vanessa appeared at pickup, unannounced, smiling in a way that made Sienna's skin crawl. Mila, sweetheart, she called. Mommy's here. Mila froze at the art table, looked at Sienna. But Daddy said I could pick you up today. Surprise! Vanessa's smile didn't waver. We're going to get ice cream. Won't that be fun? Sienna checked her phone. No text from Declan. No call. Mrs. Rivera, I need to verify. Oh, Declan knows. I called him an hour ago. He said it was fine. She held out her hand. Come on, baby, let's go. Something felt wrong. Sienna dialed Declan's number while Mila reluctantly gathered her things, straight to voicemail. I really should wait for confirmation, Sienna said. Are you saying I can't take my own daughter? Vanessa's voice sharpened. Because I have joint custody. The court documents are in my car if you need to see them. Mila stood between them, small and confused. Sienna's heart raced. Legally, Vanessa was right, but every instinct screamed, wrong. Let me just try one more time. Enough, Vanessa took Mila's hand. This is ridiculous. Come on, sweetheart. Miss Sienna? Mila's voice was small, scared. It's okay, Sienna lied. I'll talk to your daddy later. She watched them leave, Vanessa's heels clicking across the parking lot, Mila looking back over her shoulder with wide eyes. Sienna tried Declan 6 more times. Voicemail, voicemail, voicemail. At 6 p.m., he finally called back. Sorry, I was in the workshop with the saw running. What's up? Vanessa picked up Mila. She said you approved it. Silence. Then, what? No, I never talked to her today. Sienna's blood ran cold. She said you called an hour ago. My phone's been in my pocket all day. She's lying. His voice was rising, panicked. Where did they go? She said ice cream. I tried to stop her, but she has joint custody. Fuck. The word was harsh, scared. She's not supposed to take her without giving me 24 hours notice. It's in the custody agreement. I didn't know that. It's not your fault. Jesus, it's mine. I should have told you. She heard movement, keys jangling. I'm going to her house, the one in Bellevue. I'm coming with you. Sienna, you don't have to. I'm her emergency guardian, remember? That makes this my problem too. 30 minutes later, they pulled up to a sprawling modern house with a 3-car garage and a pool visible through glass walls. Everything Declan's rental wasn't. Stay in the truck, he said. Not a chance. They walked to the door together. Declan knocked, rang the bell, knocked harder. The door opened. A man stood there, tall, fit, expensive watch glinting. The tech executive husband. Can I help you? His tone was carefully neutral. I'm here for my daughter. Where's Mila? Vanessa and the girl went out for dinner. Should be back in an hour. Her name is Mila, not the girl. Declan's jaw was tight. And Vanessa took her without my permission. That's between you and your ex-wife. Now, if you'll excuse me. No, Declan stepped forward. I'm not leaving without my daughter. The man's expression hardened. You're trespassing. Leave or I call the police. Sienna touched Declan's arm. Let's wait in the truck. She'll be back soon. They sat in the driveway for 90 minutes. Sienna called Bryn, explained the situation. Bryn offered to come, but Sienna declined. This felt too private, too raw. I'm going to lose her, Declan said quietly. Vanessa's going to find some way to take her from me. This house, that man, the money. How do I compete with that? You don't compete. You're her father. That's not a competition. In court it is. He stared at the house. Look at this place. Pool, yard, probably great schools nearby. And I've got a drafty rental and a failing business. You've got love. That's worth more. Is it? His voice cracked. Because right now, I'm sitting in my shitty truck watching my ex-wife pretend to be Mother of the Year, and I can't do anything about it. Sienna grabbed his hand. You're not alone in this. You have me. For 2 more weeks, then what? School ends, you're not Mila's teacher anymore, and maybe you realize that dating a broke single dad isn't the fairy tale you signed up for. Is that really what you think? That I'm here because of some fantasy? I think you're here because you're good, because you help people. But eventually you'll realize I'm not a project to fix. I'm just a mess. Sienna turned his face toward her. Look at me. You're not a mess. You're a father fighting for his child, a man trying to build something meaningful. And yes, you're struggling, but that doesn't make you less worthy of love. Before he could respond, headlights swept across them. A car pulled in, Vanessa's Mercedes. She parked, got out, opened the back door. Mila tumbled out, clutching a stuffed animal twice her size. Daddy! She ran to the truck. Declan was out in seconds, scooping her up. Baby girl, are you okay? We went to the fancy mall. Mommy bought me a unicorn. She held up the toy. Isn't it pretty? Over Mila's head, Vanessa approached. Declan, what a surprise. You took her without my permission. I'm her mother. I don't need permission. The custody agreement says 24 hours notice. Does it? I must have forgotten. Her smile was razor sharp. But she had fun. Didn't you, sweetheart? Mila nodded, but Sienna saw the exhaustion in her eyes, the way she clung to Declan. This was the last time, Declan said quietly. You want to see her? You call me. You make arrangements. You follow the rules. Or I go back to court. With what money? Vanessa laughed. Your lawyer fees bankrupted you last time. You really want to go another round? Yes, the word was steel. Because she's my daughter. And I will fight for her with everything I have, every single time. Vanessa's expression flickered. Surprise, maybe, or respect. Fine, 24 hours notice. I'll follow your precious rules. She looked at Sienna. And who's this? The new girlfriend? I'm Mila's teacher. Right, the teacher. Vanessa's eyes were cold. How convenient. Tell me, does the school know you're playing house with one of your students' fathers? We're not. Save it. I've seen the way you look at him, the way he talks about you. She stepped closer. Just remember, I was here first. I know all his flaws, all the ways he'll disappoint you. And when he does, don't come crying to me. She walked away, heels clicking, leaving them standing in the driveway. In the truck, Mila fell asleep immediately. Declan drove in silence, hands white-knuckled on the wheel. She's wrong, Sienna said, about you disappointing me. Is she? Yes, because disappointment requires expectation, and I don't expect you to be perfect. I just expect you to keep trying. He pulled into her driveway, killed the engine. I'm exhausted, Sienna, not just today. All of it. The fighting, the custody battles, the constant fear that I'm screwing up my daughter's life. I know. And you still want this? Want us? More than anything. He kissed her then, desperate and grateful and scared all at once. One more week, he whispered. One more week, she agreed. The last week of school was supposed to be easy. Field day, movie parties, end-of-year celebrations. Instead, it became a nightmare. Monday, Mrs. Chen called Sienna into her office. I've received a complaint from a parent. Sienna's stomach dropped. What kind of complaint? That you're showing favoritism toward one student, specifically Mila Rivera. Mrs. Chen folded her hands. The parent claims you spend disproportionate time with her, that you've been seen outside of school with the family, that there may be an inappropriate relationship with the father. There's no... Sienna couldn't form words. Is there truth to any of this? I stay late because Declan struggles with pickups. I've helped them with a garden project on weekends. As a friend, there's nothing inappropriate. Are you romantically involved with Mr. Rivera? Sienna's silence was damning. I see, Mrs. Chen sighed. Sienna, you're a good teacher, but this puts me in a difficult position. If another parent decides to escalate this complaint, they won't. I'll be more careful. The school year ends Friday. After that, Mila won't be your student. Whatever you do on your personal time is your business. Mrs. Chen's voice softened. But until then, I need you to maintain clear professional boundaries. No after-school activities with the Riveras. No personal conversations during pickup. Am I clear? Yes. Good. Now go home. Get some rest. You look exhausted. Tuesday, Declan showed up for pickup with Mila, saw Sienna's face. What's wrong? Not here, not now. Sienna, please. She handed over Mila's backpack without meeting his eyes. I'll text you later. But when she got home, she couldn't bring herself to explain. Couldn't type the words. Someone complained. We're under scrutiny. I'm one mistake away from losing my job. Wednesday, the parent who'd complained revealed herself. Lucas's mom, cornering Sienna in the hallway. I saw you, she hissed, at his house, through the window. You were in his arms. We weren't. Save it. I'm not a homewrecker. Declan's divorced. Doesn't matter. You're in a position of authority. You're supposed to be professional. Instead, you're playing favorites with his kid and sneaking around like teenagers. I've never treated Lucas differently. You haven't treated him at all. You're so busy mooning over Mila's dad that the rest of our kids get ignored. She stepped closer. Stay away from the Riveras, or I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of teacher you really are. Thursday, Sienna called in sick. Couldn't face the classroom. Couldn't face Declan. Couldn't face the lie her life had become. Bryn showed up at noon with soup and tough love. You can't hide forever. Watch me. Sienna, I ruined everything. My career, Declan's custody case, all because I couldn't keep my feelings in check. You fell in love. That's not a crime. It is when you're his daughter's teacher. She threw a pillow across the room. What was I thinking? That we could just magically make this work? That no one would notice? One more day, Bryn said. Tomorrow's the last day of school. After that, you're free. No rules, no boundaries. If I still have a job, you'll have a job. Mrs. Chen likes you. Lucas's mom is just bitter because her kid didn't get picked to be line leader. Despite everything, Sienna almost laughed. That's really what this is about? Partially. But also, she's going through a divorce. Seeing you and Declan happy probably hurts. Bryn squeezed her hand. Not your fault she's miserable. Friday, last day of school. The classroom was chaos. Kids hyped up on sugar, parents taking photos, end-of-year gifts piling on Sienna's desk. Declan arrived with Mila at 11:30 for the class party. Handed Sienna a card. From both of us, he said quietly. Inside, Mila had drawn the three of them in the garden. Underneath, in Declan's handwriting, thank you for teaching me what home feels like. Sienna's vision blurred. Are you crying, Miss Sienna? Mila asked. Happy tears, Sienna managed. At 3 p.m., the final bell rang. Parents collected their children. The classroom emptied. Soon, only Mila remained. Where's your dad? Sienna asked. He said to wait, that he had something important to do. At 3:15, Declan arrived. But he wasn't alone. Behind him walked Mrs. Chen and, surprisingly, Vanessa. What's going on? Sienna asked. An intervention, Mrs. Chen said. Of sorts. Mr. and Mrs. Rivera have something they'd like to say. Vanessa stepped forward. I was the one who complained about you and Declan. Sienna's world tilted. I was angry, Vanessa continued. Jealous. Watching Mila talk about you constantly. Seeing how happy Declan was. I wanted to hurt you both. She paused. But then I saw Mila's drawings. All the pictures of the three of you together. And I realized something. What? Sienna whispered. You're what's best for her. Not me. Not my big house or fancy toys. You and Declan. Vanessa's voice cracked. She's happy, really happy, and I've been too selfish to see it. I don't understand, Sienna said. Declan took her hand. Vanessa withdrew her complaint this morning, told Mrs. Chen the truth, that she made it up out of spite. And I've advised the school board that there was no merit to the accusations, Mrs. Chen added. Your record remains spotless, Miss Maxwell. Sienna couldn't speak, couldn't process. I'm not going to fight for custody anymore, Vanessa said. Declan's a good father, better than I ever gave him credit for. She looked at Mila. But I'd like to visit sometimes, if that's okay. Of course, Declan said. You're her mother. Vanessa nodded, wiped her eyes, and left without another word. Mrs. Chen smiled. I believe congratulations are in order. School year's over. No more professional boundaries. After she left, Sienna stood in her empty classroom with Declan and Mila. Is this real? She asked. It's real. Declan pulled her close. We're free. We're free, Sienna repeated, and finally let herself believe it. Saturday morning arrived soft and golden. Sienna stood in her closet, staring at clothes she tried on and discarded 3 times already. It's just dinner, she told her reflection. You've spent entire weekends with him. This shouldn't be different. But it was different. Because tonight wasn't stolen moments or secret glances. Tonight was their first real date. Official, public, no hiding. Her phone buzzed. Picking you up at 7. Wear something comfortable and bring a jacket. She texted back, "That's cryptic. Trust me? Always." At exactly 7 p.m., his truck pulled into her driveway. Sienna opened the door to find Declan in dark jeans and a button-down, hair still damp from the shower, holding wildflowers wrapped in newspaper. "Hi," he said, suddenly shy. "Hi." She took the flowers, breathed in the scent of lavender and daisies. "These are beautiful. They're from your garden. I picked them this morning when I was finishing the arbor." He rubbed the back of his neck. "Is that weird? Giving you flowers from your own garden?" "It's perfect." In the truck, Declan didn't head toward downtown. Instead, he drove out of the city, toward the hills where Seattle gave way to forest. 20 minutes later, they pulled into a clearing overlooking the water. "Where are we?" Sienna asked. "Wait here." He grabbed a basket from the truck bed, spread a blanket on the grass. "Okay, now you can look." Sienna climbed out, gasped. The clearing offered a panoramic view, city lights beginning to twinkle below, the sounds stretching silver in the fading light, mountains purple against the horizon. "Declan, this is—" "I figured restaurants are too public, too many people who might know you from school. Here, it's just us." He opened the basket, pulled out containers. "I made dinner, well, attempted dinner. There's a 50-50 chance the pasta's terrible." They sat on the blanket, shoulders touching, eating pasta that was actually delicious, while the sun sank lower. "Tell me something," Declan said. "Something I don't know." Sienna thought. "I wanted to travel. After college, wanted to backpack through Europe, see the world, but my parents needed help with medical bills, and then student loans came due and—" She shrugged. "Life happened." "Do you regret it?" "Sometimes, but if I'd left, I wouldn't have been here, wouldn't have met Mila, wouldn't have met you." She met his eyes. "So maybe life happening was the point." "That's a generous way to see it. What about you? Besides astronaut, what did young Declan want to be?" He laughed. "A musician. Had this fantasy of playing guitar in dive bars, living in a van, being completely free." "What stopped you?" "Turns out I'm mediocre at guitar, and my dad needed help with the workshop. And then there was Vanessa and Mila and responsibilities." He picked at the blanket. "Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I just said no, if I'd chosen the selfish path." "You'd be miserable," Sienna said, "because you're not built for selfish. You're built for showing up, for staying." "Is that a good thing?" "It's the best thing." She kissed him, soft and slow. "It's why I love you." The words slipped out before she could stop them. Declan went still. "You what?" "I—" Sienna's face burned. "I didn't mean to say that. It's too soon. We've only just started actually dating and—" "Say it again." "What?" "Say it again." His hands cupped her face. "Please." "I love you," she whispered. "I love you too." He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her mouth. "I've loved you since you stayed late for Mila, since you bandaged my head in the rain, since you made me believe I could be more than just a man barely surviving." They stayed until the stars came out, wrapped in each other in a blanket, talking about everything and nothing, about dreams deferred and hopes rekindled, about building something together that neither had to face alone. "Take me home," Sienna said finally. "Not my home, yours." Declan searched her face. "Are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." Declan's rental was exactly what Sienna expected. Small, cluttered with half-finished projects, smelling like sawdust and coffee. Mila's drawings covered the fridge, tools scattered across every surface. "Sorry about the mess," Declan said, shoving aside newspapers. "It's not a mess, it's lived in." Sienna ran her fingers along a partially restored chair. "You made this?" "Trying to. It's a 1940s wingback. Client wants it by next month." He sounded embarrassed. "Most of the furniture here is stuff I'm working on. Not a lot of space between home and workshop." "Show me." He led her through the house, pointing out projects in various stages. a desk missing drawers, a cabinet with one door, a rocking chair that needed new caning. "This is incredible," Sienna breathed. "You're bringing these back to life." "That's the idea. Save what's broken. Make it beautiful again." She heard the metaphor, wondered if he knew he was talking about more than furniture. In his workshop, a converted garage, the smell of wood was overwhelming. Pieces everywhere, organized chaos that somehow made sense. On the workbench sat a small jewelry box, half finished. "What's this?" Sienna asked. "For Mila, birthday present." He picked it up carefully. "Walnut and maple. I'm inlaying her initials on the lid." "It's beautiful." "It's late. Her birthday was last week." His voice went tight. "I got so caught up with the custody hearing and finishing other projects that I didn't finish hers." "What kind of father forgets his daughter's birthday present?" "The kind who's human." Sienna touched his arm. "Did she have a party?" "Yeah, nothing fancy. Just cake and a few presents. She didn't seem to notice this wasn't done yet." "So finish it now, together." They worked side by side for an hour, Declan teaching her how to sand with the grain, how to tell when the wood was ready for oil. His hands over hers, patient and sure. "There," he said finally. "Just needs to dry overnight. She can have it tomorrow." Sienna studied the box. Simple, elegant, made with love. "She's going to treasure this." "I hope so." He pulled Sienna close. "Thank you." "For what?" "For seeing the best in me when I can only see the failures." She kissed him, tasting sawdust and hope. That's what love does. They ended up on the couch, tangled together, the television playing something neither watched. Outside, rain began to fall. Inside, Sienna felt warmer than she had in years. "Stay," Declan murmured against her hair. "I shouldn't. Mila will be back tomorrow morning." "Then stay until tomorrow morning." She should have said no. Should have maintained some boundary, some sense of propriety. Instead, she said, "Okay." They fell asleep there, Declan's arm around her waist, her head on his chest, both of them finally, blissfully, at peace. Sienna woke to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows and the smell of burnt toast. She sat up, disoriented, then remembered. Declan's house, his couch, the choice to stay. In the kitchen, Declan stood at the stove, attempting pancakes. Or what used to be pancakes. Now they look more like charcoal discs. "Don't say anything," he warned without turning around. "I wasn't going to." "You were thinking it." "I was thinking you're cute when you're domestically challenged." She wrapped her arms around him from behind. "Good morning." "Morning." He turned, kissed her properly. "I was trying to make breakfast. It's going poorly." "I can see that." "In my defense, I usually just give Mila cereal." Sienna laughed, pushed him aside. "Let me." 20 minutes later, they had actual edible pancakes and coffee that didn't taste like motor oil. They ate at his small kitchen table, knees bumping underneath. "What time does Mila get back?" Sienna asked. 10. My sister's dropping her off." He checked his watch. "So we have about 45 minutes of peace." "What should we do with 45 minutes? His eyes darkened. "I have some ideas." Before he could elaborate, the front door burst open. Mila ran in, followed by a woman who looked like a female version of Declan. Same dark hair, same warm eyes. "Daddy, I'm home. Aunt Rosa let me stay up until..." Mila stopped dead, seeing Sienna at the table. "Miss Sienna." "Hi, sweetie." Mila's gaze bounced between them. "Are you having breakfast with us?" "I am." "Does that mean you're Daddy's girlfriend now? For real?" Declan cleared his throat. "Mila, this is..." "Yes," Sienna interrupted. "If that's okay with you." Mila's face lit up like Christmas morning. "Yes, yes, it's okay." She launched herself at Sienna, nearly knocking her off the chair. "Can we finish the garden today? As a family?" Over Mila's head, Sienna met Declan's eyes. Saw the love there, the fear, the desperate hope. "As a family," Sienna agreed. Declan's sister, Rosa, leaned against the doorframe, grinning. So you're the famous Miss Sienna. I've heard a lot about you. All good things, I hope. Mostly. Rosa's smile turned knowing. But also some very sappy things late at night when my brother thinks no one's listening. Something about gardens and second chances and Rosa, Declan warned, how he's never felt this way about anyone, not even Vanessa. Okay, that's enough. But Declan was smiling. Sienna, this is my meddling sister Rosa. Rosa, this is Sienna, who I would appreciate you not embarrassing further. No promises, Rosa winked at Sienna. But welcome to the family chaos. Fair warning, we're a lot. I like a lot, Sienna said, and realized she meant it. The arbor stood finished in Sienna's garden. White painted wood, roses beginning to climb. A bench underneath where someone could sit and read. Someone could sit and breathe. Someone could sit and finally feel at home. It's perfect, Sienna said. Declan adjusted the final support beam. Give it a year. The roses will fill in. It'll be like something from a fairy tale. Mila played nearby, transplanting the herbs they'd bought at the nursery. Basil, thyme, lavender. Her hands were muddy, her dress grass-stained, and she'd never looked happier. She's different, Sienna observed. Lighter. She knows she's safe now, that her world isn't going to fall apart. Declan sat beside Sienna on the bench. That's because of you. It's because of us. They watched Mila work, this little girl who'd brought them together through late pickups and desperate evenings. This child who'd taught them both about showing up, about trying, about loving even when it was hard. I want to ask you something, Declan said, and you can say no, no pressure. Okay, move in with me, you and Mila and me, a real family. He rushed on before she could respond. I know my place is small and falling apart. I know you love your townhouse, but I also know we're better together than apart. And I don't want to spend another night without you. Sienna's heart raced. That's a big step. Too big? She thought of her perfect townhouse, her organized closets and color-coded bookshelves, her safe, controlled space that had started to feel less like a sanctuary and more like a prison. Your place is too small, she said. Declan's face fell. Right, of course. So we get a new place, together, something big enough for all of us, with room for your workshop and a real garden and a bedroom for Mila where she can paint the walls any color she wants. You're serious? I'm terrified, but yes, I'm serious. She took his hand. I spent my whole life playing it safe, building walls, staying small, and then you and Mila crashed through everything and showed me what I was missing. Her voice cracked. I don't want to miss anymore. He kissed her, deep and sure and full of promise. When they pulled apart, Mila was watching, grinning. Does this mean Miss Sienna is moving in? She asked. Would that be okay? Sienna asked. Can we get a dog? Declan and Sienna looked at each other, laughed. We can talk about a dog, Declan said. Then yes, Mila went back to her planting, chattering to herself about puppies and gardens and all the things they do together. We're really doing this, Sienna said. We're really doing this. Declan pulled her close. No more hiding, no more pretending, just us. Just us, she repeated, and finally believed in happy endings. 3 weeks later, they stood in front of a craftsman house in Ballard. 2 stories, wraparound porch, overgrown garden, begging for attention. It needs work, the realtor said apologetically. A lot of work, but the bones are good. It's perfect, Sienna breathed. Declan walked the perimeter, checking foundation and roof. Mila ran through the yard, declaring it perfect for puppies. The realtor quoted a price that made Declan wince. It's over budget, he said later in the truck. We could make it work. Barely. And that's before repairs. The porch is sagging. The kitchen's from the 70s. The upstairs bathroom looks like a health hazard. So we fix it. Together. Sienna squeezed his hand. You're good at fixing broken things. Furniture is different from houses. Is it? They're both about taking something forgotten and making it beautiful again. He wanted to argue. She could see it in his eyes. The fear, the practical concerns, the voice telling him he couldn't afford dreams. But then Mila's voice floated back. Daddy, look! The yard has a tree for a swing. She loves it, Sienna said quietly. She loves everything. She loves the idea of home, of permanence, of knowing we're choosing to stay. Sienna met his eyes. We can afford this. We pool our savings, take out a reasonable mortgage, fix things room by room. It'll take time, but we have time. What if the workshop keeps failing? What if I can't contribute equally? Then we figure it out. That's what partners do. The word hung between them. Partners. Not caretaker and burden. Not hero and project. Just two people building something together. Okay, Declan said. Let's make an offer. August arrived hot and sticky. They'd closed on the house. 3 weeks of paperwork and inspections, and Sienna stress-eating her way through a month's worth of chocolate. Now boxes filled both her townhouse and Declan's rental. Life in organized chaos. But the workshop kept hemorrhaging money. Sienna found Declan in the garage at midnight, hunched over his ledger, lines etched deep in his face. Come to bed, she said. Can't. Need to figure out how to make rent this month. She sat beside him, studied the numbers. They were bad. Worse than she'd realized. The chair restoration fell through. Client decided he wanted modern instead of antique. I'm out 2 weeks of work and materials. Declan's voice was flat. And the table I finished last month? Guys disputing the quality, wants a refund. Can he do that? Legally? Probably not, but if I fight it, he'll leave bad reviews. I can't afford that either. Sienna's mind raced. What if we pivoted? To what? The garden furniture you made for my place. Those planters, the benches. People saw them at the parent social. 3 different moms asked where I got them. That's not restoration, that's new revenue, different market. She grabbed paper, started sketching. Custom garden pieces, wedding arbors, outdoor furniture, things people actually want right now instead of antiques no one values. I don't know. You made that jewelry box for Mila in 3 hours. You built my entire garden setup in weekends. You're good at this, Declan, but you're trapped trying to be your father instead of becoming yourself. The words landed hard. She saw him flinch. My dad built this business, he said quietly, spent 40 years building a reputation. If I abandon that, you're not abandoning it, you're evolving it. Keeping the craft but changing the product. She touched his face. Your dad would want you to survive, to thrive, not to drown trying to preserve something that doesn't work anymore. He stared at the numbers, at her sketch, at the future neither could predict but both desperately wanted. Okay, he said finally, let's try. By September, the workshop had transformed. Declan cleared out half the space for garden pieces, cedar planters in various sizes, custom arbors, meditation benches with carved details. He created a simple website, posted photos on social media. Within 2 weeks, he had 5 orders. By the end of the month, 10. By October, he had a waiting list. This is insane, he said one night, studying his calendar. I can't keep up. So hire help, Sienna suggested. With what money? With the profit you're finally making. She showed him the numbers. You're clearing double what you made doing restoration. You can afford an apprentice, or at least a part-time assistant. The next week he hired Marcus, a kid fresh out of trade school, eager to learn, willing to work for less than market rate in exchange for mentorship. Within a month, Marcus was handling basic builds while Declan focused on custom work and design. The house slowly came together. New kitchen cabinets that Declan installed himself, fresh paint in colors Mila chose, her room a cheerful yellow, the living room a soft sage green. They tackled projects room by room, saving money by doing everything themselves. Sienna's townhouse sold quickly. The money went toward repairs and a nest egg, security neither had experienced before. "We're doing it," Sienna said one night, standing in their almost finished kitchen. "We're actually building a life." "Scared?" Declan asked. "Terrified. You?" "Same," but he was smiling. "Good terrified, though." Mila ran through, chasing their new puppy, a scruffy rescue they'd named Sawdust. The dog knocked over a paint can. Mila shrieked with laughter. Declan groaned, and Sienna thought, this chaos, this imperfect, messy, beautiful life, this is what home feels like. They hosted Thanksgiving, first holiday in the new house, first time meeting Sienna's parents, first time everyone together in one space. Sienna's mother arrived early, impeccably dressed, surveying the house with critical eyes. "It's cozy. It's home," Sienna said firmly. Her father was kinder, admiring Declan's workshop, asking intelligent questions about joinery and wood types. But Sienna saw the judgment underneath, the way they looked at Declan's work clothes, the house that was still unfinished, the life their daughter had chosen that looked nothing like what they'd imagined. Rosa arrived with her wife and 2 kids. Declan's mother came, elderly and sharp-eyed, immediately declaring Sienna too skinny and needing feeding. Bryn showed up with wine and stories that had everyone laughing. In the kitchen, Sienna prepped turkey while her mother hovered. "Are you happy?" her mother asked abruptly. "Yes. He's not what I expected for you." "I know. You could have had the lawyer, the one from your teaching conference last year. He had prospects." "I don't want prospects, I want Declan." Her mother was quiet for a moment. "Does he make you laugh?" The question surprised Sienna. "Yes." "Does he show up when you need him?" "Always." "Then I suppose that's what matters." Her mother's voice softened. "Your father and I, we weren't perfect. We gave you money instead of time, things instead of presence. I see you with Mila, the way you are with her. You're better than we were." Sienna's throat tightened. "Mom, I'm glad you found someone who sees your value, even if he does wear sawdust like an accessory." They both laughed, tentative but real. Dinner was loud and chaotic. Too many people crowded around a table meant for 6. Mila insisted on sitting between Sienna and Declan, chattering nonstop. The turkey was slightly dry, the mashed potatoes lumpy, the pie burned on the edges. It was perfect. After everyone left, after Mila was asleep and the dishes were done, Sienna and Declan sat on their porch swing. The November air was crisp, promising rain. "Your mom likes me," Declan said. "She tolerates you. That's basically love in her language." "I'll take it." He pulled her close. "Thank you." "For what?" "For this. All of it. The house, the life, the family." His voice cracked. "A year ago, I was barely surviving. Now I'm thriving," Sienna finished. "We're thriving." Above them, stars pushed through clouds. Inside, their house glowed warm. Tomorrow, they'd wake early and continue repairs. Next week, Declan had 3 client meetings. The month after, Sienna would start a graduate program she'd been putting off for years. But tonight, they just sat. Together. Home. The garden bloomed in full summer glory. Roses cascaded over the arbor. Vegetables thrived in raised beds Declan had expanded. Herbs scented the air. Under the bench, Sawdust napped in dappled shade. Sienna stood at the kitchen window, coffee in hand, watching Mila teach the puppy tricks in the yard. 6 years old now, starting first grade in the fall, growing so fast it hurt. "Morning, beautiful." Declan wrapped his arms around her from behind, chin on her shoulder. "Morning." She leaned into him. "Did you know Mila told me yesterday she wants to be a carpenter when she grows up?" "God help us." "She's got your talent and your heart. She's got your patience, thank God for that." They stood in comfortable silence, watching their daughter, because somewhere along the way, Mila had become theirs, not just his. Biology mattered less than presence, than showing up every single day. "I have something for you," Declan said. "It's not my birthday." "I know." He pulled a small wooden box from his pocket. "Open it." Inside, nestled in velvet, sat a ring. Simple silver band with 3 tiny stones: ruby, emerald, sapphire. Mila's birthstone, Declan's, and hers. "It's not fancy," Declan said, suddenly nervous. "And you can say no, no pressure. But I thought—" He took a breath. "Marry me. Make this permanent. Make us official." Sienna's hands shook. "You're serious?" "Completely. I want to wake up next to you for the rest of my life. I want to fight over who forgot to buy milk and argue about paint colors and build this life together until we're old and gray." His voice dropped. "I want to deserve you." "You already deserve me." "Then say yes." She looked at the ring, at this man who'd been late to everything until he met her, who taught her that love wasn't about perfect timing, but about showing up anyway, who'd taken her carefully controlled life and made it beautifully chaotic. "Yes," she whispered. He slipped the ring on her finger. It fit perfectly. Of course it did. He'd probably measured while she slept. They kissed in their kitchen, in their house, in the life they'd built from late pickups in desperate chances. Outside, Mila cheered. Apparently, she'd been watching through the window. "You knew," Sienna accused. "Daddy asked me first," Mila said, running in. "I said yes. Obviously." Obviously. Sienna pulled her close, this little girl who'd taught her what family really meant. They stood there, the 3 of them, while sawdust barked and the garden bloomed, and the future stretched ahead, bright and full of promise. They married in October, in the garden they'd built together. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. Rosa as maid of honor, Marcus as best man, Mila as flower girl, scattering petals with serious concentration. Sienna woke that morning to rain. Not heavy, just a persistent drizzle that made her stomach drop. She stood at the window of Rosa's guest room. Tradition dictated they spend the night apart, and watched water beat on glass. "It's fine," Rosa said, appearing with coffee. "Rain on your wedding day is good luck." That's what people say when their wedding gets rained on. Also true, Rosa handed her the mug. But look, it's already clearing. By noon, the rain had stopped. By 2, the garden sparkled. Every leaf, every petal, every blade of grass holding light like diamonds. The arbor draped in white fabric and climbing roses. Chairs arranged in rows. An arch made of driftwood Declan had found on the beach, wound with ivy and baby's breath. Sienna wore a simple dress, cream-colored lace, falling just past her knees, bare feet in the grass because shoes felt wrong for this. Rosa had woven flowers into her hair. Bryn handed her a bouquet from the garden, roses and lavender and daisies. "You look beautiful," Bryn said, voice thick. "I'm terrified." Good terrified or bad terrified? Sienna thought about it. Good, definitely good. Through the kitchen window, she could see guests arriving. Declan's mother, walking slowly with her cane. Sienna's parents, looking uncomfortable but present. Fellow teachers from school. Clients from the workshop. Neighbors from the street. And Mila, spinning in her yellow flower girl dress, petals already falling from her basket because she couldn't wait. "Ready?" Rosa asked. "No," Sienna took a breath. "Yes, I don't know." "That's the right answer." Rosa squeezed her hand. "Come on, your carpenter's waiting." They walked out together, no processional, no formal entrance. Just Sienna stepping into her garden while someone's phone played acoustic guitar. Every face turned toward her, but she only saw Declan. He stood under the arch in dark jeans and a button-down, tie slightly crooked, hair still damp from the shower. When he saw her, his eyes went bright with tears he didn't bother hiding. "Hi," he mouthed. "Hi," she mouthed back. Bryn officiated, standing between them with a book she'd probably never opened because Bryn never followed scripts. We're here to witness Sienna and Declan making official what we've all known for a year, that they're ridiculously in love and slightly hopeless without each other. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Their story isn't conventional, Bryn continued. It started with late pickups and desperate evenings, with a teacher who couldn't stop caring and a father who couldn't stop trying, with a little girl who knew before they did that they were meant to be family. Mila beamed from the front row. They've been through custody battles and career crises, through house repairs and workshop transformations, through every test that could have broken them. And here they are, stronger, happier, more themselves than ever. Bryn's voice softened. Because that's what real love does. It doesn't complete you. It helps you become more of who you already are. Declan's vows came first. He pulled out a note card, hands shaking. I wrote this down because I knew I'd forget everything if I didn't. But now that I'm looking at you, the words seem wrong. He set the card aside. So I'll just say this. You saved me. Not in some dramatic rescue way, but in the everyday way that matters more. You saw me at my worst, exhausted, failing, barely holding it together, and you stayed. You didn't try to fix me, you just showed up. Day after day, you showed up. His voice cracked. Rosa handed him a tissue, which he waved off. I promise to always show up for you, even when I'm late, even when I'm scared, even when it's hard. I promise to build you things when words fail, furniture, gardens, a life where you never have to wonder if you're loved. Because you are, so completely, so permanently. You're my person, Sienna, the one I choose every day for the rest of my life. Sienna's turn. She'd prepared vows, written and rewritten them a dozen times. But standing here, looking at this man who taught her what it meant to be seen, the script felt inadequate. I spent most of my life being everyone's caretaker, she said. Being the one who stayed late, said yes, held everything together. I thought that's what love meant, sacrifice without complaint, taking care of others while ignoring myself. She wiped tears. Then I met you, and you taught me something revolutionary, that I deserve care too, that letting someone in isn't weakness, that love isn't about being perfect, but about being present. Declan's thumb traced circles on her hand. I promise to let you in, all the way in, to the organized parts and the messy parts, to the fears I've spent years hiding, to the dreams I've been too scared to voice. Her voice steadied. I promise to trust that love doesn't mean losing myself, but finding someone who helps me become more. I promise to stay. Through late pickups and early mornings, through workshops that fail and houses that need repairs, through every single day we're given, I promise to stay. The word hung between them, weighted with all the times people hadn't stayed, all the times they'd both been left. I promise to stay, she repeated. Bryn cleared her throat. By the power vested in me by a very expensive online ordination course, I now pronounce you married. Kiss already. Declan pulled Sienna close, cupped her face in his hands, still probably smelling like sawdust, probably with glue under his nails, and kissed her. Soft at first, then deeper, until someone in the crowd whistled and Mila shouted, "Ew, gross!" They broke apart laughing. Married. Actually married. The reception flowed seamlessly. No receiving line, no formal anything. Just people mingling in the garden, eating food from the Thai restaurant they loved, drinking wine that Rosa had chosen because neither Sienna nor Declan knew anything about wine. String lights clicked on as evening fell, casting everything in warm gold. Someone started music, playlists Sienna had curated over weeks, songs that meant something to them. Here Comes the Sun, because Declan said she was his sunshine. Home, by Philip Phillips, because it was playing the first time they said I love you. The Luckiest by Ben Folds, because Declan cried the first time he heard it and said it was about them. Dance with me, Declan said, pulling her toward the makeshift dance floor. Just grass, but it worked. They swayed together, barely moving, just holding on. Around them, other couples joined. Rosa and her wife, Sienna's parents, surprisingly graceful. Bryn dancing with Mila, lifting her up, spinning until she giggled. "This is perfect," Sienna whispered. "The wedding or the marriage?" "Both, all of it." Declan's mother cut in, tiny woman, sharp eyes, demanding a dance with her son. Sienna found herself swept up by Marcus, who admitted he'd never danced before and apologized in advance for stepping on her feet. "Declan talks about you constantly," Marcus said. "How you changed everything, made him believe in himself again." "He did the same for me." "Yeah, I see that," Marcus grinned. "You're good together. Balanced." Later, Sienna's father approached. "May I?" They danced in careful silence for a moment before he spoke. "I'm sorry." "For what?" "For not being present when you were young, for giving you things instead of time, for making you feel like you had to earn love through achievement." He met her eyes. "You deserve better." "Dad, let me finish. Watching you with Mila today, seeing the mother you'll be, it made me realize what I missed, what I failed to give you." His voice roughened. "But you found it anyway. Built it yourself. With him. I'm proud of you." Sienna couldn't speak, just nodded, tears streaming. As the evening deepened, Mila commandeered the dance floor, teaching anyone who'd listen her interpretation of ballet mixed with breakdancing. She was ridiculous and perfect and so thoroughly theirs it hurt. "Come here," Declan said, pulling both Sienna and Mila close. "Group picture." They posed, Sienna in her grass-stained dress, Declan with his crooked tie, Mila with petals in her hair and chocolate on her face. Someone's phone camera flashed. The image captured three people who'd found each other through chaos and made it beautiful. Around 10, guests started leaving. Hugs and congratulations and promises to get together soon. Sienna's parents lingered, her mother pulling her aside one final time. "You look happy," she said. "I am happy." "Then I'm happy too." Her mother kissed her cheek. "Be happy, darling. You've earned it." After everyone left, after Mila was asleep inside, still wearing her flower girl dress because she refused to take it off, Sienna and Declan sat on their porch swing. The house glowed warm behind them. The garden sparkled with lingering fairy lights. Sawdust snored on the steps. "We did it," Sienna said. "We did." Declan pulled her close. "Married. Official. Legal. No more late pickups. No more secret moments. No more pretending. Just us," Sienna said. "Forever." "Forever," Declan agreed, then quieter. "Thank you." "For what?" "For staying that first time, when I was late picking up Mila. You could have reported me, could have followed protocol, but you stayed." His hand found hers. "You've been staying ever since." "So have you." They rocked gently, the night soft around them, the future bright ahead. Inside, Mila's owl-shaped clock, a gift from Sienna's old classroom, ticked toward midnight. But nobody was late anymore. Nobody was waiting. Nobody was alone. "What are you thinking?" Declan asked. Sienna thought about the classroom where it started, the rain-soaked evenings, the late pickups that became the foundation of everything, the garden they'd built, the house they'd bought, the life they'd created. "I'm thinking about timing," she said, "how I spent my whole life trying to be punctual, organized, perfectly on schedule, and then I fell in love with someone who was always late." "Sorry about that." "Don't be," she kissed him. "You were late to everything else, but you were exactly on time for me." Above them, stars pushed through lingering clouds. Tomorrow they'd wake as husband and wife. Next week they'd leave for a honeymoon. Nothing fancy, just a cabin in the mountains where Mila would come too, because none of them wanted to be apart. The month after, Declan had 6 commissions and a feature in a local design magazine. Sienna was starting her graduate program, taking classes 2 nights a week while Declan handled bedtime. But tonight, they just sat, together, home. The owl clock chimed midnight, a new day, a new beginning. Declan stood, held out his hand. "Mrs. Rivera, ready for bed?" Sienna took his hand, let him pull her up. Ready for everything. They walked inside, to their house, their daughter, their life, and closed the door on the old stories. The ones about being late and being alone and being not quite enough. They were writing a new story now. Together. Finally. Always. And in this story, everyone showed up. Everyone stayed. Everyone found their way home.